Welcome to the Manager Lab, where we delve into the increasingly dynamic world of talent management. In each episode, we will unravel key insights, break down the most relevant books and articles, and provide actionable tips to optimize your approach in developing and retaining top talent. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the art, science, and strategy of unlocking your team's full potential. Let's enter the Manager Lab. Welcome back to the lab. In this episode, we're diving into what separates an effective negotiator from a merely average one through the lens of recent HBR research. For managers working across functional areas and across regions, negotiation isn't just about contracts. It's about aligning priorities, managing stakeholder relationships, and getting to better outcomes for all parties. The HBR article, What Makes a Great Negotiator, according to research by Smolinski and Kesting from October 2025, gives us research-backed traits and behaviors worth embedding in your leadership toolkit. Okay, here's what the article finds, the 4 key dimensions of great negotiators. According to the article, negotiators who consistently outperform peers share 4 broad capabilities. Number 1, they're disciplined thinkers. They prepare, they structure their approach, and they think through options. 2, they are fluent communicators. They listen well, they probe other people's interests, and they express themselves very clearly. Number 3, they're trustworthy partners. They build and maintain rapport and trust. They follow through on commitments, and they have very high credibility with the people that they are engaging with. And lastly, they are principled actors. They're fair, they're transparent, they're responsive, and they're not simply in it to win at all cost. Okay, so let's break this down. Let's break those 4 things down just a little bit more. Disciplined thinking means having clarity about your objectives, what your alternatives are. You may have heard of the acronym BATNA, Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. What is that alternative, and have that going in, and the process that you will follow. It's more than just winging it. Disciplined thinking, great negotiators never wing anything. Communication fluency, that the second one we talked about. That means not only speaking persuasively, but also actively listening, asking lots of open-ended questions, diagnosing the other party's underlying interests. The third thing being trustworthy, a trustworthy partner. That means your counterpart believes that you'll follow through, that you behave with integrity, and that you keep your commitments. And lastly, being a principled actor means that you're focused on creating value, not simply extracting it from the other team, the other person that you're working with. You recognize the long-term impact of the agreement and the relationship that goes with the agreement. Okay, what traits help here and which don't? The article reviews research into personality traits and negotiation outcomes. For example, those of you, I don't want to put myself necessarily in this category, with high emotional intelligence or EQ, they stand out. Individuals who monitor their own behavior and adjust how they appear to other people perform better. Makes sense. Number 2, cognitive ability and perspective taking. People who can do that, who have really good perspective on things and who have relatively good cognitive function, that really matters. Some traits that might intuitively seem helpful, like being an extreme extrovert or an overly agreeable person, they really don't reliably predict better outcomes, especially in competitive situations. And then finally, what the article calls dark side traits, like high neuroticism or Machiavellianism, if you're familiar with that term, those tend to harm negotiation performance. Okay, so the takeaway is while personality matters to some extent, the behaviors and the processes the negotiator uses matter much more. And those, luckily for us, can be learned and developed. So here's some key actionable takeaways for managers that you can embed into your team and into your culture. Number 1, prepare deeply and think structurally. So before any negotiation, whether with a vendor, a partner, an internal stakeholder, define your goal. What are your alternatives, your BATNA? Remember, that's the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. What's your walk-away point? Who is at the table? What is the agenda? Make a map of the counterpart's interests. What's important to them? What might they be willing to trade? And then decide process issues ahead of time. What's the timing going to be? Who speaks? How are decisions going to be made? By doing this, you'll embody that disciplined thinker capability. Okay, second thing, to enhance your listening and improve your communication. Use active listening. Paraphrase the other party often. Ask open questions like, can you tell me how you view this? Probe any underlying concerns, because research highlights the value of this type of probing and the value of asking lots of open-ended questions. Second, structure your offer to create choice, not a single take it or leave it. That gives you more insight into the counterpart's priorities. And then lastly, be clear on your own value proposition, what you're bringing to the table, where you're willing to be flexible. This builds in the fluent communicator dimension. Around trust, then, the third thing is to demonstrate reliability. Meet deadlines, honor the smaller commitments, because if you're honorable in the small ones, you'll be honorable in the large ones. Make sure you follow up. Show you've thought about the other side's interests. When people feel heard, they are more cooperative and less competitive. Be transparent about process and terms. Avoid surprise moves. This supports that, quote, trustworthy partner dimension. And lastly, about creating value, not just claiming it. Move from a zero-sum mindset, like my win equals your loss, to a value creation mindset. How can we both win? This reminds me of habit 4. Think win-win, right? From the 7 habits. Propose trade-offs. What matters less to you and what matters more to them? You can concede on one in exchange for the value on another. And then think about the implementation. What happens after the deal? How will it work in practice? The article suggests great negotiators don't just close deals, they consider sustainability, which reflects the principled actor dimension. So, what does this mean for you? Apply the preparation mindset to your internal people negotiations. If you start to apply these principles towards your internal people, then which may be a little bit less, stakes, if you will, when you get to outside external people negotiations, you'll have practiced this a lot and you'll be very good at it. Number 2, coach your managers on negotiation behaviors. So the article's big on this. If your organization does not do negotiation training, make sure your HR teams know this and know its importance and see what they can do to help you get some training in. And then finally, embedding value creation into the culture. All right. So in short, the research from HBR tells us great negotiators are prepared, they communicate fluently, they build trust, and they create value. These are not just skills for external deals. As we've talked about, they are at the heart of people leadership. So, thank you for listening. Hope you found this helpful. I encourage you to pick up one of the 4 practices that we discussed. For example, just pick preparation for this week and apply it to one negotiation that you're involved in. Then just reflect on it. What changed? What did you learn? And how will it influence future negotiation techniques and strategies? All right. Well, that's it. Hope you learned a lot from this. I did. So I hope you go out and practice one of these and hope your negotiations go really well. And until next time we meet in the Manager Lab, do good work.